Let's work on creating our home screen so we can segue to it from our login screen. Go to loginscreen.dart, and then inside our gesture detector for our login button, we're going to replace that with navigator.pushReplacement context material page route builder, and we're going to write home screen. And once we create the home screen, I'll show you guys the difference between push replacement and the regular push. So inside screens, we'll make a new file called homescreen.dart, and this will be a stateful widget, home screen. And remember to import material.dart. And here we're going to just return a scaffold and an app bar. And hit save. Now if we go back to the login screen, import home screen, and then we click login, we see that we are brought to the new screen, and we're not able to drag back or click the back button to go to the login screen. If we hot restart the app and replace the replacement here with nothing, and just have navigator.push, hit save, now when we click the login button, we get the little arrow up here, and that would allow users to slide back on iOS or click this button to go back to the login screen. And that's not the kind of functionality we want, because we want the user to click a logout button instead to go back to the login screen. So let's add back replacement here. And now if we click it, we see that we're sent to the home screen and we are unable to go back. Taking another look at our UI, we can look at our home screen, and we see that our app bar consists of a side menu button and a title. And then underneath it, we have a tab bar controller. First, let's go to our home screen, and we're going to add a title. Text Frenzy. And since we already wrote this in the login screen, we can go down to our Frenzy text here and just copy the text style. Paste that in. Remember to say style. And for the font size, we can leave it as the default, so we don't need to say font size here. And then we need to change the background color of our app bar to colors.white, so we can see our title text. In order to make the status bar here black, we can just add the brightness property to our app bar and set that to brightness.light. And then we get our status bar. And then in the future, when we add the menu button here, we're going to want the icon theme to be icon theme data color theme.of context.primary color. So that way our icons would be blue. Now instead of adding the menu button right now, we're going to add that in a later video. Let's focus on the tab bar right here. So to add a tab bar, we're going to still be inside the app bar, and we'll say bottom tab bar, and our tab bar is going to have tabs. The first tab will be tab text trending, and the second tab will be tab text latest. And once we save, we see that we get an error saying that we need to provide a tab controller. And we can do that by instantiating a variable up here called tab controller. And then we're going to use a init state tab controller equals tab controller. The length we'll set to 2 because we have trending and latest. And then the vsync will be set to this. And all we have to do is on top here, we can do with single ticker provider state mixin. And now we got rid of that vsync error. We need to have vsync here in order to manage the state of our tab controller. Now going back down to the tab bar, we can just add controller and put tab controller and hit save. Now remember to hot restart the app because we added a new instance variable. Hit login. And then we see our 2 tabs are here now. Let's edit the label color of our tabs. So underneath controller, we'll set label color theme.ofContext.primaryColor. And then we'll set the label style, text style, font size 18.0, font weight.w600, and hit save. And compared to the tab bar here, we can see the unselected text is a little lighter. So we can change unselected label style, text style, font size 18.0, and just hit save. And now the text became a little thinner. For the last part of our tab, we're going to set the indicator weight, and that's going to change the thickness of this line. So we can set it to 3.0, and we see that it's more filled out now. If you ever want to change the content of your screen based on the value of the tab controller, remember that you can always just do tab controller.index, and that's going to return the selected index. And you can use that to check in your build method to see which content to render.